Did you have to go to the grocery store for that? Nope.
Nope.
Straight from the Gizarden.
Just when I thought we weren't gonna get any strawberries this year. But the real question is, who gets to eat it? Because there's only one of them. Our first Italian frying pepper. I think it's carrot harvest day, guys, because little by little we've been plucking these out. And before too long, we're gonna have nothing to show you. So we thought we'd be proactive about it. I mean, I've no doubt if we pick all of these, they will get eaten.
Yeah, so this is second harvest? Two and a half.
It's gonna be really hard to beat the first one because it was so good.
Yeah.
I was so happy, and I could already tell you, it's not gonna beat the first harvest.
Really? Oh man.
I don't think so.
We've been making soup and stuff out of these, right?
Yeah.
Salad, soup?
Yep, mostly soup, salad, and roasting them. Been
Yummy.
Absolutely delicious. I'm going, this is gonna be the best. It has that look about it. What do you think, straight or curvy?
I think it has 2 carrots on it.
I think straight.
You think straight? It's good looking.
Oh no, that was not a second carrot.
Yeah.
It is straight.
It is straight.
And I pulled out 2 carrots. We both win. Okay, well, let's do what we did last time.
Yeah.
Let's just remake last time's video.
Okay, that sounds
where
good.
you pick what you think is going to be the best carrot, and then we'll see who wins. Someone told me once I'm competitive. That's not true, is it?
Oh, hold on. We interrupt this competition to bring you a competition.
Point to it.
Oh, this one right here. Look at that chubby guy.
Wow.
Look at that. I don't even need to pull 2 carrots to win.
You know what they say about big carrot bases.
That's what they say. Oh man, I can already tell I'm gonna lose. It wiggles too easily.
It wiggles too much.
Oh,
it's a roundie.
It's a what in the world is that?
Vertically challenged.
Look, I got totally ripped off. It's like this big, but well, anyway, you get the point. One more.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this one's good. Oh, it doesn't. Oh yeah. Ooh wee.
Wow.
Ooh
that
wee.
one might be our best ever.
That's probably our second best carrot. Wow, I can smell it from clear over here. That's what I love about these carrots is they're amazingly fresh. Just gonna put my carrot right here next to yours.
Your pile and my pile.
Right there next to yours where it's obvious mine's like at least an inch longer.
Man. One more?
Yeah, one more.
I think that's medium sized.
Come on. Yeah, it is medium sized.
I like the shorter ones, they're easier to work with.
Yep.
You got a tri-carrot going on and it's hard to cut.
Yep.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good for a second harvest.
By volume, carrot volume, it's not as much.
No, our first one was probably about third more.
But I mean, so there's something to the first row that we planted did way better. The second row, every successive row, the grains just kind of got smaller and smaller. Whoa. Wow, I'm so proud.
Such a beautiful carrot.
This is the moment you look forward to when it's January and it's snowing and you're looking at all your seed packets. You just really wish it was summer and you were harvesting your vegetables.
Can't wait to eat that little guy.
It's gonna go really good with vegetable confetti.
Ooh, yeah. Did you have to go to the grocery store for that? Nope.
Nope.
Straight from the Gizarden.
So in our last video, you guys know how I was kind of scratching my head what to do with all these carrot greens?
Yeah.
I figured it out. A lot of people told me, why would you save the carrot greens or the carrot tops? Like, people just throw those away. And my response is, they're edible. Why would you not try to save them?
I wonder why in American culture we think that that's the edible part. I wonder, we do this because it's at the grocery store. We assume that whatever they give us at the grocery store is what we should eat. And makes no sense to me why you would grow all that food and just, and then cut it off, throw that in the garbage, and then eat that.
Well, I think what's weird is we spend all this time growing all these other greens, like kale and spinach and our lettuce, but our kale we had to rip out. We'll probably share that in a future video. We have some beet greens, but we're definitely limited. We're definitely low on our greens for winter. So that's why I was trying to scratch my head, like, how can I preserve these? They're definitely strong smelling and they're strong tasting. But I went to the old internet. The first idea I found was to make carrot top pesto, which I did, but I threw in a third basil, and it just tastes like basil pesto.
Perfect.
So if you're looking to hide the greens and stuff, as we women love to do, pesto is a really great way to do it. But the other thing I saw was to dehydrate the greens.
Ooh.
So take all of this that you're growing, and what's silly is that there's lots of ways to use these fresh, but one carrot top that has so many greens that you can't possibly eat them all.
No.
So the only thing that makes sense is to preserve them really via dehydration. I can't wait to show you the process because it's pretty cool and I've already done it once, so I know that it works.
Yes, and you're not gonna throw away your carrot greens ever again, ever.
No. I think what's crazy is that, at least in America, I'm not sure about other countries, but the supplement and the health food industries are so huge. People spend a ridiculous amount of money on things like elderberry tea, elderberry syrups.
Yeah.
Little do they know, they can come to a place like Idaho and the roadways are just lined with elderberries. More elderberries than you can fathom. And you can make all of these things yourself. A lot of these things in health food stores you can make yourself, but no one's gonna tell you that. No. The health food industry is just more than happy to take your money. So when it comes to green powder, people spend a ridiculous amount of money on this. I just was curious to look on Amazon at the cost. And I would say green powder, like, it's kind of good stuff. If you're trying to add more greens in your diet, a lot of us maybe can't eat a lot of greens in the form of salads, or we don't want to saute spinach. But powder is great because it truly can be added to anything and it's relatively low taste. So I could see adding, you know, a quarter cup or a few tablespoons of this to your smoothies on a winter day, and there you go, you're getting your garden greens from summer in your winter soup. I said smoothies, I meant soup. But you can also add these to your smoothies. The carrot greens specifically are kind of strong flavored, but it doesn't really bother me. The smoothie overpowers it. I think the fact is if you had dried greens, you're going to use them, but you're not gonna go buy a bunch of greens from the store because before you know it, they're going bad in your freezer or your fridge.
Yeah, I imagine that jar right there, just based on spice prices, that would cost probably around $30 to $40 if it was like a run-of-the-mill spice like cilantro. But that's a massive spice jar.
Yeah. So,
compared with the stuff you get at the store, which is like half an ounce to an ounce.
So curiosity got the best of me and I went to Amazon to see what were people spending for green powder. Granted, the green powder wasn't carrot green tops, but it was a variety of greens, you know, probably like 100 plus varieties all shoved in a bag. The low end, people would be paying $35 a jar on the low end. On the high end, I think it was closer to $200 a jar.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts.
That's insane.
But see, it's all about the marketing, right? Because if people knew what's in it, they would lose their marbles. If they knew
or they knew how easy it was to get it.
Yeah, that's a byproduct of the farming industry. They dry it, put it in a blender, stick it in a jar, call it a superfood. $200. Thank you.
And again, if people only knew how easy it was, people might make their own. So our last row of carrots, I took most of the greens. I didn't take all the greens because it was a lot of work and I didn't know how it was gonna turn out. So I thought if it's a win, we'll do the whole row next time. I crunched the numbers. In a perfect world, we would have gotten 5 rows of carrots. And I believe, I'm just throwing a random number out there, but I think the greens from the tops of those 5 rows of carrots would be about $1,000 in green powder.
Wow.
On the low end, hundreds of dollars in green powder.
Wow.
That's crazy. So if you weren't motivated to save your greens before, but you're buying green powder on Amazon or from your health food store, maybe now you're motivated, right?
You're welcome. You just became a millionaire. Ding, ding, ding. You won the lottery. Thanks to the carrot.
So I think it's one thing to plant your garden, and then if it does really well, it's another thing to figure out how to actually eat all the food. In our garden planting video, we talked about kind of the balance between growing for fresh eating and growing for preserving. If you're gonna preserve it all comes to maturity at once, which is bad if you wanna eat fresh carrots throughout the summer. But if you're eating fresh, then you're constantly having this problem, like how do I, in small batches, preserve whatever I'm not able to eat? So I think that's our challenge, is trying to really figure out how do we benefit from every square inch of our garden. We don't want anything to go to waste. We have so much effort, so much time invested in this garden that it absolutely has to produce. Ways to do this. You can use a dehydrator, but most people's dehydrator isn't going to be large enough for such a batch. So probably the easier method is to simply hang them upside down to dry. It takes maybe about a week. It's really not that long. In my experience, you don't want to tie the whole dang thing together. Last time I did this, my larger bunches weren't really dried out in the middle, so those leaves I wasn't able to pull off. When they're dry, you could just run your fingers down the stem and zip them off. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna get these babies tied up in probably about 5 to 10 bunches, somewhere in there. I think what I'm hoping some of you get from this video is maybe the inspiration to try preserving something in a unique way. I think a lot of food preservation, whether it's water bath canning or pressure canning, dehydrating, freezing, a lot of stuff can be really intimidating if you haven't done it before. And once you do something once, it's really not that big of a deal. You are going to have a lot of failed experiments. I can't tell you how many times we failed or we've done something and we thought, you know what, that really doesn't make sense. Probably not going to do that again. But there's only one way to know that, and that's by experimenting. And what works for one person might not work for another person. We have limited freezer space, and prior to now, we actually lived off grid, and we only had a small freezer, so freezing things wasn't really an option. So for example, instead of freezing all of our fruit, we had to can it right away, and we only could eat so much jam, so we decided to turn a lot of that fruit into mead, which doesn't need refrigeration or freezer space. I also want to share that don't try to be a food preservation garden superhero. You can only focus on one thing at a time, so while we're dehydrating our carrot greens this year, it probably isn't something we would have done last year. And another project we want to do is save our seeds. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen this year or not. We definitely have our plate full. So that's, again, just one of those things that we want to experiment with. It may or may not be worth it, but there's only one way to find out. Last two, and we'll put you right there. that? I think we're there. Not for these. These are our most recent harvest that we hung up yesterday, so those need to cook a little longer. And then we also got some scraps from the farmer's market because the vendor was just gonna throw them away. So we have a lot of carrot greens to powderize. Well, there you have it. All of our carrot tops from that last harvest right here in a pint jar. You can see that this one on my right, it's a lot more coarsely ground, like maybe you would get dried parsley, and this one's more of a powder. So if you're looking to do this, you could do whichever one you feel would fit your needs best. I feel that a powder might be better to add in, say, smoothies, but something a little more coarsely ground I think would be better to add to soups. I think that it's my hope for someone watching this video that you think twice before throwing away perfectly edible parts of a lot of your produce. Not only can it save you money by not throwing these parts away, but you can increase your overall nutrition because so many of these parts are so nutrient dense, we're just not accustomed to using them. I'm really curious to see all the ways we're gonna use these over the winter, and I'm curious to see how long they're gonna last.